Alright. I guess it was foolish of me to think that parts 3 and 4 being better meant they'd be progressively getting better and better as well. Let's talk about Puppet Master 5.
When worlds collide, you'll laugh so hard, you'll swear you died. When worlds collide.
Puppet Master 5, the final chapter, is the final Puppet Master movie. At least, out of the first third. There's still 10 more to go. Yeah, that's right, Charlie. I'm counting the crossover movie. The final chapter is a movie that really did not have to exist. Part 4 was only an hour and 10 minutes long, and that movie saw the evil demon lord send his minions after the main character Ricky and the puppets because Toulon stole some of his magic to create them. That story was told in less time than the average Puppet Master movie. Now you could have easily tacked on an extra 20 minutes or so and just finished the story with the demon sending himself to the hotel. But nope. Instead, for whatever reason, they chose to draw it out for over an hour and a half. The movie begins with Ricky in police custody. He's already in an orange prison jumpsuit and he's officially been arrested for the murder of the science people. Why? Well, because using the officer's logic, Ricky was the last person on the phone with them, and the woman was killed by something so small it wasn't caught on camera. And what just so happens to be small? The blade puppet he found in Ricky's room. Clearly, this officer rivals the rape cop from Motel Hell in stupidity. Clearly, he didn't watch the full surveillance camera footage of the woman being attacked. He never even glanced at the footage of the other man being killed. He never looked at the footage of the mysterious figure that dropped off the monster boxes. And oh yeah, he couldn't tell the soft little puppet can't even stand on its own, let alone commit murder. Yes, they can Toy Story themselves to life, but just like in Toy Story, unless the doll decides it wants to do something, you sure as shit ain't about to get Sheriff Woody to stand up on his own. You could have made the blade puppet around a car engine, but that means nothing when he doesn't have any way to use it. The officer's whole point was, you work in robotics. This doll has robotics in it. As seen in part 2 when Tunneler got opened up, there are mechanics inside of the chest area. However, its limbs and everything are still very soft fabric shit. That's not standing up any better than Sheriff Woody. I'm not expecting the best writing, logic, or anything with Puppet Master films. I don't expect anything from Full Moon movies. However, it still has to be said just how stupid and forced this was. And what's funny is, it didn't even need to be in the movie, because other than this instance, we never go back to this setting ever again, and we never even slightly go back to this topic. Now, for whatever reason, Ricky's then allowed to leave. Sure, he was arrested for committing murders, and they even had him dressed in a prison jumpsuit, but he could use a day or two to relax. So why not let him head back to the hotel? Before he left though, Ricky briefly talked to a man, I think a lawyer, and it's mentioned that there's 7 puppets, when in actuality there were only 6. The 7 is counting Torch, but Torch sure as hell wasn't in the last movie, and Ricky never once met the guy, but that won't stop him from pretending like he already knows about him once Torch finally makes an appearance 50 minutes into the thing. Once at the hotel, Ricky and Blade just sort of hang out and exist, and later that night the lawyer for some reason breaks in with 3 goons. Why? Because he wanted to take the cool monster puppets. This series sure ain't Chucky. If you tell someone there's a killer doll, they're gonna believe you, and they're gonna break in to steal them. Throughout the first, 40 to 50 minutes, we see the evil demon lord Sutek. He's doing his own thing in the background, thrusting around a tiny puppet with his giant meatball nipples sticking out. It takes him the majority of the movie just to cut his hand open, bleed on it, say a few basic lines like, "You feel me growing inside of you." Great writing there, Charles, and eventually transfers himself into it and then goes to the inn. Also, just that line. I watched a few episodes of Charles Band's podcast series. That man is insanely horny all the time. So much so that when Rob Zombie was on the show talking about being 12 years old and working at like a carnival type of thing, Charles Band kept asking him, "Oh, you must have seen a lot of tits, huh? Oh, that's around the age you start getting horny." Charles, stop it. Let someone else write your movies. It's clear that you must be the one writing all of them, considering all the newer stuff is just weed and tits. But that little tangent aside, so far the sexual content and stuff hasn't been that bad in these movies. When Sutek eventually arrives, he ends up delivering 3 of the 5 kills. Those 3 being the goons who broke in, and after the puppets kill the lawyer guy for assaulting Rick for literally no reason, Sutek and the puppets come face to face, and Decapitron blows his ass apart. Like I said, this movie could have easily been the real ending to Part 4, and considering that was the shortest movie of the Puppet Master films, I wouldn't be surprised if they took the ending off of it and extended it into its own movie, being this. It's fine that it exists, it's okay that it exists, but there's no real reason for it to exist. And going back to my mention of Torch, and how he wasn't brought in until 50 minutes, there is no reason he needed to be in this movie either. I like the puppet, don't get me wrong, but it was totally unnecessary to include him in this, when you've got so many other puppets that half the time, 2 or more of them just aren't being used. I love the fun puppet stuff, like Pinhead punching a man in the jaw, Jester whacking his balls with a mallet, but at least give them some more purpose. The first 2 movies were really good with how they handled the puppets. Part 3 did it even better, but these last 2, and it only makes it worse with the character of Decapitron. It's clear Charles loved this character considering he made him the hero who saves the day in the last 2 movies. But in the end of the day, it's just another totally unnecessary puppet that takes away from the already underused puppets. And there are plenty of them. Like I said, I love me some fun puppet stuff, but shorten the cast if you need to. That or give them more purpose. In the end of the day, I would still rate 1995's Puppet Master The Final Chapter a 7 out of 10. Its fun puppet moments are the only thing that saved it and made it more entertaining than Part 2. But ultimately, it's a totally unnecessary sequel that could have easily existed as the final 20 minutes of the last movie. It's a fine movie for Puppet Master, but if you're not a fan of these low-budget trash movies, like all the movies Full Moon does, it's not going to be for you. If you've seen this movie, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Have a nice day.
Looking for more horror fun?
You're goddamn right.
Then check out the VHS comic book series, a parody of the horror genre that follows the lives of 3 teens as they fight to survive a horror movie, where every day is loaded with blood, boobs, and buds. The first 2 issues can be found in the description below.
I was obsessed with the